This morning, I did something that broke my heart before anyone else could. I made my own birthday cake. Just a basic yellow mix from a box and store-bought chocolate frosting, the kind my mother used to slather on cakes when she still pretended to care about me. I threw on some cheap rainbow sprinkles and told myself it was fun, but really? I couldn't face another birthday without something, anything, that felt like celebration. 22 candles should have been blown out by now, but instead, they're still sitting in the drawer because nobody in my so-called family bothered to acknowledge I exist. Not my dad, John. Not my mom, Karen. Definitely not my precious little sister, Sienna, who's never had to beg for attention a day in her perfect life. I'm Mallory Dean, and I've mastered the art of being forgotten. While my sister shines like the golden child, she's always been blonde, bubbly, studying communications because she loves being the center of attention. I've spent my entire life being the reliable shadow. The daughter who never complained, never demanded anything, never rocked the boat. Big mistake. I moved out 2 years ago after community college, thinking distance might make their hearts grow fonder. Spoiler alert, it didn't. If anything, it made it easier for them to pretend I never existed in the first place. All morning, I kept glancing at my phone like some pathetic puppy waiting for scraps. Our family group chat sat there, mocking me with its silence. No birthday wishes, no plans, no acknowledgement that their eldest daughter had survived another year despite their complete indifference. ATM, I finally cracked and sent the message. That would trigger everything. What time should I be ready for dinner tonight? The crickets were deafening. Minutes ticked by like torture. 5, 10, 30, each one hammering home the same brutal truth: I wasn't worth remembering, even on the one day that should have been mine. By mid-afternoon, I was mechanically folding laundry when my phone finally buzzed. Mom's contact photo smiled up at me, all fake warmth and practiced perfection. My stupid heart actually fluttered with hope. Hi, sweetie. Karen Dean's voice dripped with that artificial sweetness she reserves for telemarketers and disappointing. Her eldest daughter. What's going on? Just wondering about tonight, I managed, throat closing around the words. The pause stretched like a chasm. Then came that devastating little oh, the sound of someone realizing they've completely forgotten you exist. Oh honey, I should have mentioned earlier, we're taking Sienna out tonight. She landed this incredible media internship opportunity, and we want to celebrate properly. You know how these things are, spur of the moment. The world tilted sideways. Mom, it's my birthday, she actually giggled, like my pain was amusing. Oh, don't be so melodramatic. We'll absolutely do something special for you next weekend. This is career making for Sienna. Surely you can understand that? Through the phone, I heard my sister's voice, bright and thoughtless. Is that Mallory? Tell her we'll totally save her some leftovers. More laughter. That's when the last piece of my naive hope shattered completely. This wasn't an oversight. This wasn't poor planning. This was a conscious choice to prioritize her over me. Again. Right. Have a great time, I whispered, ending the call before they could hear me break. I sat there in the aftermath, not crying or screaming, just empty. It wasn't shock anymore. It was the soul-crushing confirmation that I'd been right all along. I was the expendable child, the afterthought, the one who would always come second to Sienna's golden glow. My fingers found Riley's number without conscious thought. My girlfriend answered immediately, concern already coloring her voice. Hey gorgeous, oh no, what happened? I spilled everything. The forgotten birthday, the casual dismissal, the leftovers comment that felt like being stabbed with a rusty knife. Get over here right now, Riley said fiercely. Mom's making her famous steaks tonight, and we're going to celebrate you like the queen you are. Riley's house felt like stepping into a warm hug. Her mothers, Ellen and Dana, had been together longer than I'd been alive, and their home radiated the kind of love my family had never managed to fake, let alone feel. Ellen wrapped me in her arms before I could even speak. Happy birthday, sweetheart. You're just in time for dinner. The dining room looked like someone had actually planned for me. Real cloth napkins, flickering candles, and a handwritten place card with my name in elegant gold script. Someone had thought about me. Someone had cared enough to make it beautiful. Dinner wasn't elaborate, but every detail whispered, "You belong here." After dessert, my favorite cheesecake, Riley pressed my phone into my hands. "Document this," she said softly. "You deserve to remember what it feels like to be celebrated." I captured the scene. The warm candlelight, the remnants of laughter, that precious place card bearing my name. Then I crafted a post that would become the nuclear bomb that destroyed my family's carefully constructed facade. Overwhelmed with gratitude for the people who actually showed up for my birthday today. Found my real family, and I couldn't be more blessed. I didn't expect my biological family to notice. They barely notice me in person. Why would social media be different? But within 40 minutes, my phone transformed into a weapon of mass destruction, buzzing with notifications like an angry hornet's nest. Text, call, text, call. The desperation was almost funny. I watched it all from the couch, feeling something dark and powerful rising in my chest. For the first time in my life, I held the cards. I had something they wanted control of their precious reputation. When I finally answered Mom's fourth call, her voice hit me like a slap. "Mallory, what in God's name do you think you're doing? Enjoying dinner with people who remembered it." "Was my birthday," I replied, voice steady as granite. She made a strangled sound. "That post, everyone's seeing it. Your aunt called. Your cousins are asking questions. Do you have any concept of how humiliating this is for us?" Beautiful. Not, "We're sorry," not, "We messed up," just pure panic about their image. I wasn't trying to humiliate anyone, I said calmly. I was just being honest. "This is completely blown out of proportion," she shrieked. "We were going to celebrate you, but Sienna's opportunity couldn't wait. After everything we've sacrificed for you, this is how you repay us." Dad's voice thundered through the speaker. "Delete that post immediately." Something fierce and final crystallized in my chest. "No, Mallory." His voice dropped to that dangerous tone he used when I was little and had broken something valuable. "If you don't take it down right now, there will be serious consequences." I looked around at Riley, at Ellen and Dana standing like protective guardians nearby. "What kind of consequences?" Muffled arguing in the background. Then Dad again. "We're coming over to discuss this face to face." "Perfect," I said, surprising myself with how calm I sounded. "I'll be here." The pounding on the door came exactly as expected, sharp, aggressive, demanding. When I opened it, my mother swept past me like a hurricane in designer clothes. Karen Dean had assembled her full armor, perfect hair, killer heels, and that expression that had cowed me for 22 years. Dad followed like a storm cloud, all barely contained rage and clenched fists. "We need to have a serious conversation," Mom announced, scanning the room like she was cataloging evidence. Privately, I didn't move an inch. "Whatever you need to say, you can say it right here. Don't make this more complicated than necessary," she hissed. "I'm not complicating anything." Dad stepped forward, intimidation rolling off him in waves. "Lose the attitude." "What attitude?" I asked innocently, standing up for myself. Mom's mask slipped slightly, revealing the panic underneath. "We will not allow you to destroy our reputation with your little tantrum." "People are talking. They're asking questions we shouldn't have to answer." I nodded thoughtfully. "Maybe give them better answers then." "You think this is a game?" Dad's voice could have cut glass. "No, but it's honest. And apparently, honesty is terrifying for you." That's when Mom pulled out the big guns, the manipulation tactic that had controlled me for years. "Your father and I have worked our entire lives building something for you and Sienna," she said, voice dripping false concern. "But if you continue this destructive behavior, don't expect to inherit anything. No house, no accounts, no lake property. Nothing." I stared at her for a long moment, then did something that clearly shocked them both. I laughed. Really laughed, from deep in my belly. "You think that scares me?" I asked, wiping tears from my eyes. You think I want anything that comes with your strings attached? Your house never felt like home. Your accounts were never meant for me. Your legacy doesn't have space for the daughter you forgot existed. Ellen's voice drifted from the kitchen. Her place at our table doesn't require inheritance. Mom spun toward the sound, eyes blazing. These people can't replace your real family. I met her gaze one final time as her daughter. They didn't replace anyone. You abandoned your position. I just stopped holding it open for you. The silence that followed was deafening. Then Mom tried one last desperate play. You really believe we don't love you? After 22 years of providing for you, supporting you, raising you, I let that question hang in the air like poison gas. When I finally answered, my voice was quiet but absolutely certain. Love doesn't forget birthdays every single year. Love doesn't prioritize one child over another consistently. Love doesn't require me to be invisible to keep peace. What you gave me wasn't love, it was convenience. Dad tried to interrupt. You're being overly dramatic. No, I cut him off, 22 years of swallowed words finally erupting. I'm being truthful. You had your golden child, and you made sure I knew I wasn't her. I was the low-maintenance daughter, so I got low-maintenance care. I begged for scraps of your attention for years, and when I finally stopped begging, you got angry that I wasn't grateful for neglect. I watched them realize in real time that they'd lost control. No threats, no guilt trips, no financial manipulation could drag me back into their dysfunctional orbit. The power they'd held over me for decades crumbled like sand. Dana stepped forward with quiet authority. I think it's time for you to leave. They went without another word, taking their toxic energy with them. The door closed with a soft, definitive click, and I stood there whole, breathing, free. The quiet that followed wasn't empty. It was full of possibility. Riley squeezed my hand. How do you feel? I took a deep breath, tasting freedom for the first time. Lighter, like I just put down a weight I didn't realize I was carrying. We settled back on the couch, surrounded by people who loved me without conditions, without competitions, without keeping score. I expected it to hurt more, I admitted. Dana smiled knowingly. Pain comes from losing something valuable. You didn't lose anything tonight, you just stopped pretending you had it. Near midnight, my phone buzzed with a message from Sienna. Mom and Dad are absolutely furious. You've really done it this time. No birthday wishes. No concern for my well-being. Just a warning delivered like she was watching my life implode from premium seating. I stared at the message, fingers hovering over the keyboard. Part of me wanted to unleash 2 decades of accumulated resentment, to tell her exactly what I thought of her complicity in my erasure. Instead, I did something more powerful. I deleted the message without responding. She'd witnessed my pain for years and chosen silence. That told me everything I needed to know. I wandered into the kitchen where Ellen was reading, the comfortable quiet of people who don't need to fill every silence. I want to start a new tradition, I announced. Birthday cookies at midnight. Something small but mine. Ellen looked up with a warm smile. Need an assistant? Just company, I said, already reaching for flour. As I mixed dough and preheated the oven, I thought about all the birthdays that had passed in silence, all the celebrations that had centered everyone but me. This birthday, the quietest of them all, had become the most important. Not because they finally remembered me, but because I finally remembered my own worth. Riley appeared as the first batch was cooling, immediately stealing a cookie despite my protests. Midnight baking, huh? She grinned, sweatshirt sleeves covering her hands. They're probably too sweet, I warned, watching crumbs fall. Perfect things are overrated, she said, eyes twinkling. Imperfect things made with love are better. I thought about all the store-bought cards my parents had given me over the years, generic, unsigned, clearly purchased at the last minute. I'd saved a few out of desperate hope. Tonight, I retrieved the most recent one, pale and meaningless, and ceremoniously dropped it in the trash. Going somewhere? Riley asked, watching me grab my jacket. We're going out, I said. Birthday celebration? I smiled, feeling something settle permanently in my chest. Freedom celebration. We stepped into the cool night air, and I felt different. Not angry, not sad, not even triumphant. Just free. The weight of trying to earn love from people incapable of giving it had lifted completely. I wasn't walking away because I needed to be loved differently. I was walking away because I finally understood I deserved to be loved at all. Sometimes the most devastating revenge isn't hurting someone back, it's refusing to let them hurt you anymore. Sometimes you have to lose your biological family to discover your real one was waiting all along. If they only remember you when others are watching, the answer is simple. Stop performing for an audience that doesn't applaud.